welcome. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. I have my beautiful friend Marla here today. I'm going to change my view. Oh my gosh, there we are. Hi, welcome to the expert interview series that I've created called You've Got This, How to Thrive and Take Action Today. And I have my gorgeous friend and amazing expert, fabulous person on today, Marla Mervis-Hartmann. And the reason that I invited Marla on today, and if you don't know me, I'm Arriane Alexander. I think you all know me, but we'll see. If you don't, that's awesome. I'm glad to meet you. I'm the Rock Your Business and Video expert. And this whole video series is designed to support you in what you're going through right now, whether that's today or that's 6 months from now or whenever that is, because the tools and skills that I'm bringing on experts from my favorite experts from all over the world, I'm bringing on to really share their wisdom and help give you specific tools and things that you can do to take action today to really thrive in your life. So I'm so happy to be here with Marla. Marla is, she's an author, she's a speaker, she speaks all over the planet on awesome topics, and she is a TEDx speaker. You can also, later I'll tell you her website and everything, you can go watch, she's an amazing TEDx talk on her website. She's a Reiki master, and she'll tell us more about what that means, because that's pretty cool and very needed in this time and any time. And she's a coach, so she coaches women all over the planet on all kinds of things. So she has she's a creator of Love Your Body, Love Yourself program, where she really helps women actually like ourselves, actually like our bodies, actually get in touch with ourselves in a very powerful way. So I'm so thrilled to have you here today. I wish I could like reach out and give you a virtual hugs. We're all doing virtual hugs now, aren't we? Yeah. Aren't we? It's good. So tell me what, we've known each other for a long time. And when I invited you to come on today, what inspired you to actually come on and do this interview with us?
Well, when we're actually recording this, the whole world is in crisis. Yes. There's a lot of upheaval around the corona virus. But, you know, this isn't just for this time. Like if you're watching this video now, I'm sure Ariane's going to be sending the recording out. This is a good opportunity for us to remember the tools that you're learning in this video and the videos that Ariane's sharing, just how we can thrive even in times of stress and times of trouble, and where we can find our center and find our power. And for me, I felt very drawn to come on to talk about self-care and what that means to you. And I know that can sound so, I don't know, like, oh, really? You're going to talk about self-care? It's like, yes, self-care can be so many different things. Self-care cannot be doing your practices and just having fun, like getting out of the anxiety and what you're supposed to be doing and just kind of dropping back into yourself and finding some sort of fun connection to yourself. So in this conversation, I'd love to talk about, you know, what self-care means to you, what it means to me, different things we can do to center ourselves and find our center, and even around like coping mechanisms and what we can do when those come up.
I think that's great, because right now, and like we say, today and forever, we always are going to have things that come up in our lives. But first of all, thank you for being here, Marla. Thank you for being here live. If you're watching us live, I see some of my peeps on here. So welcome everyone to our self-care topic day, which is amazing. I see my friends on Facebook, Trinity and Asia. Asia's in New York. I've heard New York's even more challenging than LA in this moment. So light ahead to that. And I think what you're saying is right now we're in a little crisis mode with all of the virus really like happening in America, all over the world as we speak. And so self-care is super important. We're going to talk about why people miss it, all of that. But also this is not just, oh, we have a special guest. We've got dogs all over the place. So we're going to have, there we go.
Good. They're so good for self-care.
Right?
Oh.
This is my self-care, are these dogs. Seriously, this is like, just like petting the dogs makes me so happy. So basically, this isn't just for today, this is for life. Because as we were talking before we started, we're always gonna have crises in our life. We're always gonna have times of challenge. You know, people are gonna die, people are gonna get sick, and people are gonna lose jobs, people are gonna lose money in the stock market. Like none of us escape the human reality and the human form. And so I think having coping skills for this time and any time, like this time is so urgent that we get to actually learn new skills and take those into the future with us. The guest I had on yesterday, this is so appropriate for what we're talking about, was Stephen McGee. And he was really talking about how to step into our personal power and leadership and view this all from a spiritual perspective. And one thing he said that was so great, he's like, we are literally changing our brains right now because our brains and our neural pathways are set up for familiarity and certainty. And right now, nothing is familiar and nothing is certain. So we have to create new pathways. We cannot stay the same.
Oh,
our brain,
good.
Right? So I was like, oh, I'm forced, whether I want to or not, I'm forced into looking at things in a new way. And those of us that are conscious and aware of this, and this is what we'll talk about today with self-care, we can actually intentionally create those new pathways that will serve us for the rest of our lives, no matter what.
Yes. So it's using this as an opportunity. I mean, I feel like it's actually officially one day of quarantine here. The official, right? And it feels like so many things are bubbling up. Yeah, so many of these, the uncertainty, like my boredom, right? Like for me, it's like boredom to me feels like death. You know, like, so what do I do with that? What am I doing with the boredom when it comes up? And when I say that, I can feel it. It's like, right? So I get the opportunity to either flee from that feeling or somewhat sit in it and allow this boredom and this feeling to give me information. So what does that mean? That means, like, for me, just to be present. Like, I don't have to do anything with it. I can just slow down and feel like, wow, I'm really bored. This is really challenging. I do not want to be in this place. You know, and just by turning around and looking at what the feeling is in the face and acknowledging it, we're not running from it. We're not like trying to fill the space and deal with things, right? We're hitting it, and that's where we can change a pattern. But it has to be with compassion,
yes,
right? That is like all of what we're saying is through compassion. So if at times I do act out or I get upset, you know, it's not to shame myself or get mad at myself. It's actually through the eyes of compassion, like, wow, this is really challenging. Like what you are going through, what I am going through, and people have it so much worse than me, like to the nth degree, and like what people are going through right now. And I can turn that around and I can be like, oh, but so many other people have it worse, right? But I still need to feel what I'm feeling right now. I still need to be like, oh, I have permission to feel this. And this, I'll tell you what, this is a self-care act right now. And if you want to do it with me right now, is just to like put your arms on yourself and hug yourself.
Okay, everyone watching, whether you're watching on replay or watching live, hug yourself right now.
Hug yourself, like, and maybe it's a gentle little like,
don't touch your face.
Yeah, oh yeah, don't touch your face.
Just hug yourself.
Squeeze. What I'm finding, and I don't know about the rest of you, and I shared this on a healing circle I did on Facebook Live a couple days ago. It's like when we're in these places of anxiety and like this sort of feeling, there's this idea that we're supposed to calm it. And yes, it's good to calm it, but we also need to meet it. So when we're having that, like, oh, I'm just so, and I'm feeling so much and I'm overwhelmed. And if we can do some sort of self-care practice where we can meet that, whether it's going out for a run or squeezing or, you know, something where you can actually meet it in your body, where your body has the opportunity to release and let go. And if it's okay, Arriane, I'd love to share a little practice.
Yeah, for sure. I'd like to, first of all, I'd like to hear from everyone watching. What have you been finding is your challenge point? What are you feeling? What's the place where you're getting challenged? Is it boredom? Is it anxiety? Is it fear? Is it the isolation? I was just feeling this, and I know some people on here live by themselves too. And I was just like, oh, this is really good we can't do this right now. So it's like, oh, this actually feels really good. It's a way to self-soothe. So I'd love to hear from you, if you're willing, just pop it in the comments of what's the biggest challenge for you in this moment? And it's whatever it is fine. If you don't have a challenge, great. I mean, awesome. We love that. So
Yeah.
I'd love to know,
Let's know if you don't.
Yeah, right. It'd be thrilling. So, and then we can go into a practice around it, because I love that. I love experiential. I love, and are you all willing? I can't see hands here, but I guess how do we do a hand raise to see if you're willing to do a little practice with us? But I think we'll just do it, and you guys can do it with us. It'll be so fun. All right. So we'll wait for those comments to come in, but we'll go ahead and get started with the practice. So yes, take us through something.
So I just want to say that this practice isn't for everyone. And the intensity that you do this practice, it can be very, very lightly, and don't do it if it doesn't feel good. Because it's kind of an intense practice, we're talking about the intense feelings. So what I like to do is, and if you have been around me enough, you probably have seen me share this, but is to bring my arms up in the air and breathe in and out through my nose very fast. So it looks like this.
Oh, wow.
So I want you to not just do this sort of thing. We're not doing this. We're getting the whole body. Get out the tension. Open your mouth. Ha, ha. Shake it out.
Oh my gosh, you guys gotta do this with us.
And then you're gonna
do this with us.
And hold the breath. Inhale. Hold the breath. Pull up in your perineum. Hold it in. Like I said, if it doesn't feel good, do not do this. Hold it in. And exhale. One more time.
Oh, do it again. All right. Nobody's watching you. Nobody's watching you, so you can do it. Nobody's watching you. Y'all are watching us, but nobody's watching you, so you do it.
Hey, weird is good. Weird makes you healthy.
It's true. Weird makes you healthy. Oh God, I need this.
Shake out that shake out that angst. Shake it out. Yes. This isn't about playing around here. Shake it out and inhale, hold the breath in. Pull everything up. And exhale, bring your arms down. And have your palms face up on your lap. And then just let your body sink and relax. So it's important. This is a very important piece of this. Don't go back to normal stuff right now. This settling in your body and with the breath is where the tension is being released. So sit with yourself. Notice what you're feeling. Notice what you're aware of. Find your breath moving in and out. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes.
That feels so good.
Doesn't it feel good?
Yeah, because it's just the tension gets held, whatever that feeling of tension is. Because whatever we're feeling, or when it's an upset, it's it just creates tension and stress and in the body. So it's great to give it a space to release. Give it a space to release.
So that may look like dancing hard or jumping around, or I think someone said that they like to exercise, exercising. Yeah, that's really good. The thing with exercising, I think it's great, but when I do intentional movement, intentional exercise, when I'm okay, I'm going to walk up this hill really strong. And this is to get my, some energy out. And I use this a lot. If I'm angry, people say well, you can go for a run and it helps get the anger out. But if it's okay, that mile run is to help help release the energy of the anger out of the system. Just that moment of intention feels like it shifts the system into not just its normal, exercise mode, but it's actually an added self-care.
I love that. That's such a good distinction. What I hear you saying, and we're going to definitely get to your comments. So thank you so much. Keep them coming in. Of what are you doing to support yourself right now? What are your acts of self-care? Would love to hear that. Some of you put in the challenges, which we're going to cover all this, but also what are your acts of self-care? that you're doing right now, because I love what you're saying. It's just about, part of this is being intentional around releasing this from the body. So when you are exercising, you're off for a walk, off for a run, and of course, hopefully you can all get outside and do something, and get in the sunshine and do something. Or dancing in your home. And dancing is great, but I hear you saying intentional to like move the energy and move it out of your body.
Yes. And that may look like it may be the opposite for you. And maybe that you don't need to meet it, but you've met it all so much all day that you need to like walk or move really slowly and find that really soft place in you. It's like, oh, there she is. There is, even with the anxiety, there is a place that's soft, and there is a place that's slow, and there is a place that knows how to ground. So it may be the opposite. It's for you to decide on a moment-to-moment basis. And this is all about, Arriane, and when you're talking about like, I forget what the speaker's name was yesterday when he was talking about Steve, changing patterns, is that we get the opportunity to be friends to ourselves and to get to know ourselves better. And that's what we're doing here, is we're getting to know ourselves more, and we're being of service to ourselves. It's like, okay, that felt good yesterday. This doesn't feel good today. So it's not like we're not going into the normal, like I go here, then I do that, and then I do this, then it's like, what do I want to do? And does this help?
Mm-hmm. It's great, because just in what you're saying, I just am hearing so much compassion coming in, and really listening to what you do need in the moment, and not forcing it, and also not making the same choices that you've done in the past. Like really, that's the place of self-care, again, now or forever, is like, there's an opportunity to really drop into your intuition. So like you say, like maybe you need to like push the energy out, or maybe you need to just really slow down and like really just be still and breathe. And it's like, it's going to look different for everyone. So that's really cool to bring that forward, that it's funny. It's because every expert I've been talking to this week says the same thing. I keep asking for like a roadmap of like, how do you do it? And they're like, there's no roadmap. Like in anything, there's no, like, I can't give you like ABC. And I laugh because that's my left brain and my being in a place that's uncertain. So I'm like, I'm a microcosm of the world, right? Being uncertain, I want someone to give me certainty and tell me, if you do these 3 things, you're going to feel better, right? And it's like, I hear you saying, and every expert has said, we can't give anybody that. We can give ways so you can self-reflect, and you can come back to yourself and find your own path of what's going to support you, which I think is really cool.
I think is really cool too. But that actually is a step. So for your left brain.
Oh yeah, right.
Okay, so what I can do is every day I can see what would be a compassionate thing for me to do today. Like for me, and like, okay, I do a lot of body work. I do a lot of like Reiki and hands-on healing. And so now my business is, I'm not going to be able to do that. So now I have this void. Like, what am I going to do in that void? Yeah. Right? I could be in the void and just freak out. I could be in the void and feel the fear and feel it forever in a day. Or I can take that opportunity and take some action. And when I'm taking an action, that soothes my nervous system as well.
Great.
So action is such a good way to support ourselves.
Great. Okay. Let me pause and just see what some of these comments are so we can address what people are talking about on here. So, okay. So when we're talking about the kind of challenges, like Kathy says, the uncertainty is my biggest challenge. Kathy, you're in the world with this. It is uncertain. And she said that I'm standing firm in my faith of God. Great. I mean, great. Because the thing is, the thing is in this uncertainty, never had a certain world. We've thought we've had. It's this illusion of control. So we've thought we've had certainty forever when we really haven't. We just thought we did. And now it is completely uncertain. And so now we're all like, what's happening? So you're right on track. Like it's what's happening, and it's fine. And that's where I think Marla's saying you get to meet yourself in that place and like not try to change it. Cause like, if that's what you're feeling, that's what you're feeling. And she's giving us tools to like meet us where we're at, and with so much compassion, feel differently, basically. Catherine says, getting out to exercise and eating high calorie foods. This is the health coach. I do all the things I coach people not to do. Then I feel guilt. Right. When she's not exercising and she's eating high calorie foods, that's been her coping mechanisms. As a health coach, I get it. You're right. You're a health coach. She's like, I should not be doing this. But this is where where we meet ourselves.
This is where the compassion comes in. I think in this moment in time, we really, it's just more than anything, we have to give ourselves compassion for these moments. We have those coping mechanisms. We don't have to use them all the time. They're sitting there waiting for us. They're the friends that has become our enemies, right? And they're confused because they want to help us, right? And they're just sitting, and now they're like, we'll help now. But to shame ourselves and to make ourselves wrong for using them is not helping. We can't shame ourselves into good action. Mm-hmm. And my thing, and I support a lot of women to love their bodies and to take care of themselves and positive body image. And my past history has been a lot of negative body image, a lot of overeating, binging, purging, all of that. And I'm noticing, just like full disclosure, I'm noticing I'm very uncomfortable in my body. Mm-hmm. Like I'm having those there's still more to process for me, is what my body's telling me. But I'm having these feelings of like, and even thoughts like, ooh, like you're going to get fat during this time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. And so this is my opportunity to acknowledge, okay, that's not true. I look the same that I did 2 weeks ago. Right. So this is just what I go through when I'm in deep fear. And now this is my opportunity to be with that in a deeper, more loving way, because there's a part of me that is scared. And there's a part of me that's in fear. And when I'm in fear and scared, it shows up by me wanting to eat. It'll show up. It's just the way that my body and the way that I've learned to communicate with myself. It's like, you feel fat, right? It's like, okay, all right, listen to me. It's like, okay, I'm so sorry. This is scary, right? This is the opportunity. And so what is that for everyone? Is those coping mechanisms are the opportunity to be in more love with ourselves and to not shove them down and make them wrong.
You're rocking so many people's worlds right now, including mine. And this is why Marla's an expert at what she does. She's healed herself in this journey with food and body. And this is why she works with women all over the planet, is for emotional, using food for emotionality and coping mechanisms. Because when I look at the chat and I'm like, oh, right. Like, a lot of people are using food. And then even if you're not, you're a real quick, Trinity, I'll get to your comments too. Thank you so much, love. That even if you're not using food or whatever coping mechanism you have, because we all have them, right? And I love that you're saying they're not bad and not to shame ourselves for doing it, because that's the key. Like that's the key to freedom. Because what happens is, like, I'll just use myself as an example. You all can chime in the comments if you can relate. I eat the chocolate bar. I'm healthy. Like I still work out, like I'm good, whatever. But chocolate is my like coping mechanism. I'll eat the chocolate bar, the whole thing. And then I'm like, ugh, I suck. I can't believe I did that. Blah, blah, blah. And what I hear you saying is the antidote is compassion, for that coping mechanism being there. Cause I didn't just learn it yesterday. It's been there my whole life, basically. So it's like helped me at some point. So it's not like this bad thing. It's just, it's coming in. I have let it go. And then you're saying have so much compassion instead of shaming myself more for it.
Right. Because the shame catapults you back into the same behavior. In fact, shame could make you go and eat another chocolate bar. Mm-hmm. That's what it's done to me and many women. It's like, or the shame says, I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to put the chocolate bar over here. I can't believe it. I'm disgusting. That's sick. I don't even care what's going on in the world. Like, whatever, that's gross. Like, whatever those thoughts are. Yeah. And then it's this angst or upset or like defeatedness, however it shows up. And then it's like, the back to the waltz over to the chocolate again to make ourselves feel better. But that moment of taking the shame and upset and being like, oh, I really don't want to do this. I am upset that I ate that chocolate. Like, I am upset. I ate that chocolate. I don't want to eat the chocolate, but I ate the chocolate, and I'm just going to be just a moment of care and love for myself right now. Like, just a moment of care, because obviously something's going on. Right. And even that pause can give you a little bit of space between the action and the reaction, or, it may catapult, you may not catapult back into it until another week later, but it's over there waiting for you.
Yeah. What's great is that such a small, it's not like because I think right now in this place of self-care, and again, you can tell me in the chat if this is kind of where you're at. Like, we don't need more to do. I don't need more like to do in like life stuff. Basically, everyone's kind of figuring out like what's happening now. But what you're saying is, it's not even to do. It's just taking that space in that moment. Like how you break the cycle is you just take space in that moment to go, okay, there I go. I did that coping mechanism again. Okay. I did it. And like, that's okay. And the next moment will be the next moment. And really slowing that down instead of continuing in the frenzy.
Exactly. And if you can, and we can't always, but even looking at looking at what it brought up. I mean, sometimes we're not in that place, right? Mm-hmm. But sometimes sometimes what I find, it's like sometimes you can't stop the action if we're talking about food, because it is my expertise. If you're already in the motion of the, like, I'm gonna eat the thing, and people are like, what, stop, go for a walk, write in your journal. It's like, yeah, I don't, it's like there's so much momentum towards, yes. It's taking it when you're out of the momentum and sitting with it and being in process with stuff that has come up.
Yeah, that's great.
Important.
I love, yes, that's perfect. Cause it's like, don't stop them. Don't try to stop it mid happening. Cause you're not gonna, basically, but it's like afterwards you can reflect and you can be kind, because that kindness and compassion and not going to the shame is what's going to help you make a different choice the next time too.
Exactly.
Which is great. Okay. I love this. Let me look over into the chat and say hello. Okay. Trinity says, my biggest challenge is avoiding, we're going to talk about this, Trinity. My biggest challenge is avoiding all the posts on social media about what we're experiencing. So much wrong information and fake news meant to scare us is being spread. This kind of thing triggers my anxiety. So I have to tune it out. Just, I had such good advice, because I get it, that trigger of the news and the social media, like, it's just coming in and it's triggering so much adrenaline in our systems. So the adrenaline's high, the cortisol's high. And if you don't know what these hormones are, just know they're not good for us, basically. You don't even have to know what they are. Yeah. They make us old, and they make us tired, and they make our sex drive go down, and we don't want any of that. So, but that's what's happening. And so it's really, for self-care, one thing that I'm doing for self-care after I had a conversation with my therapist about this is, for me, the self-care is to not check the news 12 times a day. Because what she said to me was really interesting. She said, you already know what's happening. Like, what's going to be new, so I can check it once a day. But she also said, check the sources that are the sources, which is the CDC and the World Health Organization. And then, of course, I have to check like LA local, just to understand if there's something else I need to know. But I don't need to check it 12 times a day, because it's not changing 12 times a day. There might be new information once each day, but I can check it once each day. The known sources that are the sources, that it's not getting dribbled down through all the news outlets. And remember, the news, whether it is meant for drama. It is meant to make you come back and read it again. If you're watching it, it is meant to sell you Tide in between segments. Oh my God, come back for the drama that just happened, so they can sell you Tide. They want to sell you a lot of Tide, antibacterial Tide right now. Okay, let's be clear. And all the outlets online is the same thing. They're selling you ads. So don't think you're just getting news. You're getting news so that people can sell you Tide. So once you can step away from that and really go to the sources where it's coming from, and only do it once or twice a day, that is a form of self-care that will help you so much through this crisis. instead of like jacking up your system 12 times a day.
And I think that why people are doing that too is because it's giving them this false sense that they're doing something, that they're going to get certainty from the information. So it's a sense of doing and sense of, I don't know. So it's a searching outside of self. And the more we do that, the more we're going to need to do that. And then we'll get something that hits and says, oh, okay. Right? Some little bit of news. And then it's like more, because then we're uncentered and then we got to go. So that's why we have to up our self-care. That's why we have to find a practice and do it every day. That's what I'm telling my clients find your practice. Like Monday, was it Monday or Tuesday? I don't know when it was, but I just lied in bed in the morning, and I'm empathic. And I know a lot of you out there are empathic too. So you're feeling a lot of everything. And I was just feeling so much uncertainty and fear, and I was sad, and I just let myself feel it and be with it and let it go. And then, my husband hugged me real hard, and then I just got into my practices, and I, did some things I shared with clients. And by the end of the day, I felt better. I'm like, oh, so it actually does work. So find something, find a breathwork practice, give yourself some healing, find something that you can do on a day-to-day basis that's more than what you're normally doing. Because we all have, a lot of people probably, if you're watching this, you do have your self-care. Do something a little different or something specific, right? We're talking about changing it up, right? Do something that's for this time for you.
It's really great to find something that you can do each day. And it doesn't have to be a big thing, but the consistency, right? The consistency is what's going to make a humongous difference, because anything we do consistently is amazing. And it's just, because first I want to go back to what you said about the news. I hadn't realized that's the cycle that you were talking about how then it makes us feel more uncertain, and then we're reaching outside for more things for certainty. And this is why this is why you're doing this. This is why you're here today. It's I just had the aha of oh, that's why the self-care has to be there. And it's self-care. I don't even like that word, but it's just connecting to yourself, to your source, that you have dominion over your certainty and how you feel and how you're going to look at the day and how you're going to look at life right now. And that's where we do have dominion. And these practices help us create that feeling within self that I'm okay, I'm going to make it, instead of searching outside for someone to tell us or show us that I'm going to make it, which no one can do anyway.
That's so good, Arriane. And what you said about self-care, and what I heard, it's not necessarily self-care, it's self-centeredness, right? It's doing things to get us back into our center, right? And so anytime we say self-care, think of it as centeredness and finding your own voice rather than everyone else's voice around you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really love this. I'd love to hear your comments about this conversation so far. What's an aha that you've gotten so far? Because I'm getting so many from just talking to you. So I'm assuming you all are too. And let me check and see what else somebody said. Trinity says, for self-care, go for a walk on a trail in the mountains. How delightful you can go for a walk in the trail in the mountains. That's amazing. I dance, listen to music, soak in a hot bubble bath, fun, with a good book, or simply cuddle with my fiance. It depends on what. Trinity, you're nailing self-care. She's got dancing. She's got walking on trails. She's got a bubble bath. She's got cuddling with her fiance. You're good, honey.
Cuddling. Is that what you call it, Trinity? Cuddling?
The kids are calling it cuddling these days. Quarantine and chill. But this is great. So yeah, I'd love to hear from those of you watching, what's a thing, a nugget that you're taking already from what we've been talking about? Because I'm just hearing that, and I hadn't gotten it until this conversation with you, because I'm really good at self-care. That's something I've always been really good at. And in this time, I'm good. But I hear you saying why it's a must right now is because in order to create that experience of life as the world is topsy-turvy right now, the only way that I can stay centered is by creating my practices of self-care and really sticking to it and being consistent. Therefore, I can stay more centered. Therefore, I can be of service to others. Because I put this in the email that I sent out to my tribe last night or today, that I said, when you're on the airplane and they say, if you're with a child, if something happens to the plane, that when the mask comes down, you put on your mask first and then you put it on your kid. And that's why and then I said, Marla's going to help us put on the mask, because this is what you're speaking to, is you've got to get yourself together in alignment and grounded so that you can serve your family, so you can serve your tribe, so you can serve your clients, your community, whatever's happening.
Yes, it's so important, because if you're watching this out there, you probably are a leader, right? You are a leader, even if it's just in your own home. And I think it's important for us to realize that we don't want to fake it either. We don't want to fake, I'm grounded. It's okay. I'm doing fine. It's all right. If you have a place in you that is in fear, it's important to slow down and find that and look at that and give yourself permission to cry, to do whatever you need to do. This is a time for permission to feel. It doesn't mean that you're not a leader. Actually, I think it means you are, because you're truthfully stepping into the feelings that you're feeling. If we can be truthful about how we're feeling, we can guide others into their anxiety and support them to move through that and find their centeredness within the anxiety. If we're just jumping over it and like spiritually bypassing, we're not really helping anyone, because we're just like, I'm fine. I'm so centered. I'm really good. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's that truth and authenticity. And that's what's going to create deeper connections with all of us. I mean, we're being asked as a world to come together. Through isolation, we're being asked to come together in a new way, which hopefully it will, after we are out of isolation, it will help us come together in a new way. But what you're saying is that this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
That vulnerability, that truthfulness, that authenticity, which I love. So I love everything we were talking about today. So it's so cool, because it's like, why the self-care is so important is you have to have this groundedness and centeredness in order to serve yourself and your family and your tribe and your community. How you do it is you figure out your own self-care practices. You really intuitively decide like what works for you and what's going to help you self-regulate. And there's lots of options, and we'll talk about some of those too, because Marla's a Reiki master, and we'll talk, some of you probably don't even know what Reiki is, but it's like amazing, but we'll talk about that too. The what is what you're going to do consistently to create this for yourself. And some of you might even be watching and going, yeah, but like, I don't know if it's going to work for me. But you know what? This is like, it's kind of like, if not now, when? Like, if you're not going to, really take care of yourself now, then when are you going to take care of yourself? Mm-hmm. We're all being asked to come forward in a new way. So it's like, you see online the jokes about the Netflix. Well, you can only watch so much Netflix until you're like, I'm kind of bored of Netflix. And so how are you really going to take care of yourself? So if you're skeptical about like that, you really have to do self-care in order to thrive, then do an experiment and watch Netflix and don't take care of yourself for 2 days and see how you feel, because you're not going to feel good, right?
Exactly.
You're going to go down. And we want to come out of this on the upswing, not in the downswing of depression and worse. So it is super, super, all of this is very, very important. And like I said, I hadn't even gotten into this conversation, so thank you. All right, let's see what we've got here in the chat. Catherine says, I did much as normal of my normal routine today, which was simple, brought me joy. Awesome. As strange as it sounds, I walked to Whole Foods, just hearing the birds at dawn. Sorry, you went to Whole Foods at dawn? Oh God, you're amazing. The sky, the plants thriving, and my housekeeper, we did virtual hugs. Awesome. I was in such gratitude and gave her a little extra money that I hadn't budgeted for, but it brought great joy, which is amazing. So
Catherine, that's so lovely.
I think hearing the birds, I mean, literally just being in nature, just getting outside and hearing sounds of nature, it reminds us that we're going to be okay. Life thrives. Life has always thrived. Life will continue to thrive. So I love that. Great, Catherine. That's a beautiful day of self-care, and have, sharing that gratitude with your housekeeper is so beautiful too, which is
And
amazing.
like even just reading that, it feels good to me that you felt that way. Like we still have love, we still have our laughter, we still have joy. Everything is still available to us. We're allowed to feel good, even in the midst of all this.
Key point. We are allowed to feel good. We are allowed to laugh. We are allowed to have joy. We are allowed to thrive. We all get to have all of it. It's not separate. It's not like you don't get to be happy because so much is happening. It doesn't meet each other. It's two separate entities.
Yeah.
There can be all this going on, and you can be, and that's one thing I've dealt with, because I'm like, I'm pretty happy and I'm, thriving in a new way that I never have before. And I have felt guilty about that, but I'm like, no, me feeling guilty does not serve the world.
Yeah. I remember when I lived in New York during the World Trade Center, the bombings, and I remember people walking around and people, were walking around, and friends were with a group of friends, and there were people laughing. They're like, why are they laughing? Like, what do they have to laugh about? And I was like, well,
yeah.
we all need to, know that life is going to go on and we're okay. So if that resonates for you and you're feeling like you're not allowed to, like you are, like we need that. That's what the universe needs. That's what the world needs is more love and more fun and more laughter within all of this.
Yeah. It's so true. So wherever you can find that and bring that forward, that's an act of self-care. You helping yourself laugh and helping others laugh, that's self-care right there. Let's see. Chris Lynch, one of my favorite besties from Chicago. Love my daily walks with the dog, right? The animals, they're like self-care-orama.
Oh my God.
Because they bring so much joy. Brandy says, this is great stuff to hear and be reminded of right now. Awesome. Being shut in at home with a 10-year-old. God bless you. Both myself and husband working from home. My clients are hotels, and if they're shut down, my job's shut down, all very overwhelming. Great. I'm so glad you're here, Brandy. I'm so glad you're here, Brandy, because
Brandy, I have a 7-year-old jumping out there on the trampoline right now. So I know how you feel.
She's home with her husband and her 7-year-old. So they're all home.
I mean, this is really the time for us to call in our support system. So we're talking a lot about centeredness and self-care and connection to ourselves, but this is also the time for us to lean on each other. And, Arriane, like you mentioned your therapist, it's time for you to lean on her. It's time for me to call in the support system that I need. We may not be able to see each other virtually, but we do need to set those systems up for ourselves and just allow ourselves to be held.
You're right. And that's what I want to talk about, because that support system involves Reiki. And can you just tell us a little bit about what Reiki is and how it can benefit us at this time?
So Reiki, if you're not familiar, it's a hands-on energy healing. Also can be transmitted long distantly, and it's a spiritual practice. And what it is as a Reiki master, as a practitioner, I can channel this energy, this universal life force energy. It's literally the energy of unconditional love, like that magical, like when we say love heals, it's that essence of the love that I can pour through me and through my hands, send it to you and to you and to you and to myself. And what Reiki does is it releases stress in your body so your body heals itself. Let me say that again. It releases stress in your body so your body heals itself. And this is physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So as I'm giving Reiki to myself, I'm releasing all this stress, and then I can find my center. So I've been doing this for about 20 years now. And now, because of this, I'm upping my long distance Reiki to friends, to family. I already have a program that I send Reiki to people every day called Everyday Reiki. And right now I'm offering 30 days of Reiki, where I send Reiki to you every single day, where I do a meditation. I have a group of people that I send it to. And then I also host a virtual healing circle for the group that's in it. And these healing circles that I've been doing online I just love them because they're reaching so many people, and it's an opportunity for wherever you are to know that Reiki, that healing energy, that you don't have to do anything. You can just be open, and the energy is going to help support you and heal you.
Wow. I've had Reiki many times in my life, and it's so beautiful, and it feels so good and so relaxing. And I love that you do it at night, because then we're going into sleep. So
Yes.
we're even more relaxed going into sleep, which is awesome. So I love, what a cute name, Everyday Reiki. So very cool. So needed in this time. So if we want to find out, like, how do we find out about that program and the prayer circle, the virtual circle? Like, where do we find all this? I'll put it in the chat.
Sure. And I can, well, it's lovely. I should probably put it in the chat for you.
You put it in that chat, and I'll put it in the Facebook chat.
Okay. It is love your body, love yourself. Let me just put it in for you, because.
Okay. So very cool. So if you want to, if you want some extra support, that's a great way to get support, is to have Reiki given to you every day. And it's a really low price how you're doing it.
Yeah, this is like, it's $45. So
That's amazing for months. Yeah. So that's great. So that'd be a really good support way to do it. Did you put it in there yet? I'm going to
read now.
love your body, love yourself. Oh, cool. Okay, good. Okay, good. I'm going to copy this and put it in the Facebook chat too. Okay, cool.
30 days of Reiki.
All right. Love it. Love it. Okay, good. All right, cool. So, and then where else can I'm sure people are going to want to follow you and stuff on Instagram. And so
Yes.
where do we,
love your body, love yourself always on Instagram, and love your body, love yourself on Facebook, and then Marla Mervis-Hartmann on Facebook. And I am getting it. I'm going to go ahead and answer that right now.
Wait, what is it? Love your body. What's your IG? Love your body, love yourself always?
Always, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to put that in here. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, good. All right, Cece says, understanding that you're a master at what you do, are there any tips you can give people in order to do the most basic type of Reiki on ourselves to add to our self-care? Is that possible? Great question.
It is possible. Everyone has the opportunity to heal through their hands. Yes, when you receive a Reiki attunement and you become a practitioner, you're kind of turning the light on anymore, but we all have the ability to do that. So what I would recommend, Cece, is like for you to put it on your hands. It's just very simple. Put your hands on your head, and this is going to balance the right and left hemisphere of the brain, which we all need right now. And then if I was just to give you, really just do it wherever it feels good to you. You can do here, and then make sure you do your heart and your thymus gland. This is good for immune system right now. And it's really nice to give yourself your heart Reiki. And then on your adrenals, this is key. And you don't want to have your hands like this. You want to bring your fingers together, because this disperses the energy. So put your hands like that and put them over your kidneys and your adrenals. Our adrenals love to be touched and held, and they love Reiki. And then you can end by putting one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Let's do this. This is a Reiki hug.
Oh, that's sweet.
Reversal position for Reiki, and it's giving yourself a Reiki hug. You're balancing your upper centers and your lower centers. Now I often fall asleep like this.
So sweet. I love it. Oh my God. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's so helpful. Oh my God. You're amazing. Thank you so much for being here. You're awesome. I'm so glad this was so much fun with you, and I learned so much, and I'm sure everyone watching learned so much. And you can always DM me if you have any questions, and I can get you to Marla, but you can also follow her on IG and DM her there. And just light to all of us in our self-care for today and always.
Yay.
See you soon.